Today I want to go ahead and I want to share a really great kind of strategy when you talk about self-defense. And this is something that one of my instructors taught me, and I obviously want to share it with you. It's what we call our RAP program, or our AT program. I've been teaching this program to my students now for literally almost 25 years, and it's an incredible program where we can take a lot of the concepts that I teach throughout these videos right here and put it in a nice packaged self-defense program right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to illustrate this by explaining that we have 3 stages of any kind of a fight. And the first stage that we have right here is what's called our probing stage. Now, when we talk about a probing stage, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to relate everything to boxing. Now, why am I doing this? Because this is not just a boxing video. I'm doing it for this one simple reason right here, is because any kind of combative situation can be broken down into these 3 stages right here. I'm just using boxing because I'm assuming you've seen a little bit of boxing in your life. And if I relate it to that, then hopefully you can see what stage goes where and what is the goal of each stage, which is really the goal of this video right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the probing stage. I'm going to bring Mark out here real quick, just kind of explain this. When we talk about the probing stage is where Mark and I are moving around and just some pot shots are happening right here. There's no heavy commitment, but all we're doing is we're moving around, we're kind of feeling each other out more or less. If this is a kickboxing match, I may be throwing some kicks in there. If it is let's say a high school wrestling match, we may be playing the hand game a little bit right here, but this is just the probing stage. Thank you very much. The next stage that we have right here is what's called the rally stage. Now, when we talk about the rally stage in any kind of combative competition is usually where one or both of the fighters get a little bit closer to each other and one of them usually gains a little bit momentum. So if I bring Mark out here once again, we're now in this situation where we might have been boxing it out, once again relating everything to boxing, and now maybe I move a little bit closer and I start throwing in some combinations right here. This could be an example of the rally stage. The next stage that we have right here is what's called the follow-up stage. And the follow-up stage, well, let me ask you real quick, what do you think the follow-up stage could be in, let's say, a boxing match? You're right. If you answered something like it could be, let's say, the final blow or the knockout, that would be an example of something like that. What would be the follow-up stage in, let's say, a high school wrestling match? Yeah, it would be obviously the final pin or something like that, right? So I don't care what kind of combative competition that we're talking about, or let's say violent altercation we're talking about. Every one of them have these 3 stages right here. So if I go ahead and let's say off to the side, I say these are the stages, that's what I want to focus on. But the next thing I want to focus on is that what is the goal of each one of these stages? Well, the goal of the probing stage is to do one thing. It's to inflict a shot of pain. Now, this right here is maybe not something that you're thinking about, but all we need is just one shot of pain. Now, in reality, could it be several shots of pain? Absolutely. But our goal to make this as economical as possible, we just want one shot of pain. And in a second, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use some concepts and some techniques to give you some ideas of how we can go ahead and do this. But the next thing I want to talk about is the rally stage. What is the goal for the rally stage? It's really to do one thing. It's to go ahead and it's to put pressure on the opponent. And if you remember what we talked about, relating everything to a boxing match, I said if I would step in a little bit closer and start throwing in some combinations, that would be an example of putting pressure on someone. I'm going to use a high school wrestling match just because, once again, you might have participated in one of those, maybe you've seen some of those or whatever. What would be an example, let's say, in a high school wrestling match of pressure? It would be the takedown. That would just be an example, obviously. MMA, what would be pressure? Well, the pressure could be either one of those, right? It could be a takedown, or it could be someone coming on in with a flurry of punches and kicks, but they're putting pressure on the other person. The follow-up stage also has a goal, and the goal here is to simply terminate the fight. Now, when we talk about terminating the fight, what do I mean by that? What is my description of that? Well, to terminate a fight, all we're talking about right here is we want to make it where our opponent cannot physically fight back so we can go ahead and escape the situation. Because remember, we talk about self-defense, that's the goal of self-defense, is simply escape the situation. That's all we want to do. So we have our goals laid out right here, where it's to inflict pain in the probing stage, to add pressure in the rally stage. And last but not least, we have the follow-up stage right here. We want to go ahead and we want to terminate. But what I want you to do is go ahead and now focus on these. If you haven't checked out this video yet covering the 5 basic concepts of JKD, and when I say that, I don't mean that there's only 5 concepts of JKD, but we just use 5 concepts right here. And this is all that we really want to focus on right now. We can go ahead and we can use these concepts, these techniques over here. So we have our stages, probing, rally, and follow-up. And the question I have for you guys is, what concept, whether it be the interception, destruction, entry, fake, or hits, where would the interception best be used? Because in all reality, we might be able to use the concept in different stages, but my question to you is, where's the best stage for it? When we talk about the concept of the interception, we would talk about it right here, right in the probing stage. Why are we doing that? Why are we using the interception in the probing stage? Well, we have to take a look at what the goal is. The goal is to inflict a shot of pain. So if I have Mark in here, who let's say is coming in and maybe he wants to go ahead and swing at me with a nice left hook or something like that. Well, I can go ahead and I can intercept him right there with an eye jab, right? Okay, that's all I'm doing. Or I can intercept him with, let's say, a groin kick right here, all right? When we talk about the interception, we are intercepting someone before they fully get a chance to really pull off their full attack most of the time. There's a couple exceptions of that, but the goal that I want to get across to everybody when we're talking about the interception is to do one thing, making sure that we're attacking the person, inflicting our shot of pain as they're coming in and attacking us. We're not getting into a common range and just kind of battling it out, or I like to sometimes call pillow fighting, okay? The next kind of concept we have right here is the destruction. Where is the best stage to use the destruction? Well, it would be right here in the probing stage. Why? Because you have to take a look at the goal we want to accomplish, inflict pain. Okay, could a destruction put pressure on someone? Nah, maybe, maybe not. Could it actually even terminate the fight? It could, but it's best used in this stage right here, which is the probing stage. Now, what can we use right here? If I bring Mark back out here, maybe if he punches, I go ahead and I do my fist destruction, my elbow destruction right here, okay? If he goes ahead and let's say he wants to kick, maybe I destroy right here by doing that. I'm gonna show that again real quick right here. Picking up my heel, my knee makes contact with his shin. That's where we're inflicting our what? Our shot of pain, and that's why it belongs right here. We're gonna throw things off a little bit. We're talking about the entry right here. Where would the best stage for the entry to be? Would it be the probing stage, the rally stage, or the follow-up stage? Well, we once again have to take a look at what the goal is. If we have the techniques, and these are just examples of techniques of how we could enter in. We could have the lockup, we could have the straight blast, whatever it is. Where's the best part that we can go ahead, or the best stage that would do it? Could you terminate a fight using one of those? You could maybe, okay. Is it a way to inflict pain? Well, it is, but the best use of it is by going ahead and putting pressure on someone. So I'm gonna put the entry right here in this stage, which is obviously the rally stage. And this is where we might straight blast someone, or if we inflict a shot of pain, get on in there and lock on up. We're gonna go ahead and do that as well. So let's take a look at our stages: probing, pressure, and follow-up. So far we have the interception right here, destruction right here, entry right here. Working our way down the 5 concepts, we now have the fake. Where would the fake best be used? Could it terminate a fight? Sure it could. Could it put pressure on someone? It might be able to. But you know where the best place to use a fake right here is? It's under the probing stage, because we're using it once again just to inflict a shot of pain. I'm gonna bring Mark back out here again. Remember, we're in this far off range right here. If I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna fake maybe a low line and then land a high line. I could do the exact opposite. I could fake the high line and maybe land a low line right there. Maybe fake a punch and then end up shin kicking right here, okay? So the fake is best used under the probing stage as well. Once again, we can fake high, land low, fake low, land high. You know, if you guys want to go into some just some advanced stuff or have some other kinds of options, we can use the middle line as well. We're now to our last concept right here. We're to the concept of the hits, or what we call a PDA, progressive direct attack. I have the techniques kind of initialized right here from a previous video. We have elbows, knees, and headbutts. Well, where would they best be used? Where would the concept of the hit? Well, obviously it's right here, but before I write it right here, I want to go ahead and I want to underline a thing. When we're talking about a hit, could you use a hit to inflict pain? Yes. Could you use a hit to put pressure on someone? Yeah, especially if you use them in combination, right? Okay. But on the other hand, The most economical place to use your hit would be right here in the follow-up stage. Why? Because the most effective hits are your elbow, knees, and headbutts. Let me go ahead and let me kind of paint a little bit better picture for you. If you could only have one tool to maybe take somebody out of commission, or one tool, one move that you would base your ability to escape, would you punch the person in their face or would you headbutt them? Well, I would choose the headbutt, okay? Would you kick somebody in the thigh or would you knee them in the groin? I'm hoping you're saying knee them in the groin. Those are higher leverage tools that we can go ahead and use. They're gonna put much more pain on someone. So if I have Mark out here once again, this is something we wanna use in here, and when I explain the RAP program maybe a little bit more in detail, you're gonna see specifically what I mean, but we wanna use the hit in this range right here. Okay, this is where we're using our knee strikes, our headbutts, our elbows. Once again, tools that are gonna take bigger, stronger people out of commission. Thank you very much for that. So after we have the concepts laid on out, after we go ahead and we have, let's say, the stages, the goals, I'm gonna put concepts right up here just so we kind of know what level we're at. But we have the concepts right here. Now the next thing I wanna do right here is just show the flow of this RAP program right here. So we already have acknowledged that any kind of an altercation, whether it be an MMA fight, whether it be an attack out in the street, is gonna have a probing stage, a rally stage, and a follow-up stage, okay? But the next thing I want you guys to do is show how we can put this all together. Most altercations will start with a little bit of distance between you and the opponent. It doesn't always start that way. Sometimes we can have an attack from behind, okay, all right? But the vast majority of altercations will start when somebody's in front of you and when there's a little bit of distance. It may start off with some verbal stuff, whatever it may be, okay? But we have some distance. So once again, if I have Mark out here, all we're doing here is we're just kind of putting the puzzle pieces together, and that's really what the RAP program is all about, is making sure that we identify what stage we're in, and from there, then we just simply follow the path that we have right here. I may inflict a shot of pain with a groin kick. After that, if I come in with a straight blast, and then I go ahead and use my close quarter moves, that's what we want to do. That would be an example of how we can use this RAP program within a self-defense situation. Just use another kind of combination right here. Let's say Mark comes on in. Instead of me intercepting, he maybe goes ahead and throws a punch, and I go ahead, boom, okay, and blow that fist right up with an elbow destruction. After that, I'm close enough, because he was on in, to go ahead and grab that neck. Now I go ahead and use my elbows, knees, and headbutts to terminate the fight as well. Could that be an example of this? Absolutely. Let's use one more combination right here. Let's use a fake to start everything off. So if we're right here, I may go ahead as we're dancing around, maybe he's timid to commit, but he's still being threatening, right? And in that case, I could fake up high, gives attention here, but what am I doing? I'm faking high, landing low. As I do that, maybe I straight blast in here, then I go ahead and use those tools of my elbows, knees, and headbutts again. This is an example of the RAP program. So with our concepts, interceptions, destructions, entries, fakes, hits, we put them in the correct place. We go ahead and we follow our stages, but our stages tell us what the goal is. And this is what I want to start kind of making sure that everybody understands from this. We have these 3 steps that we want to accomplish, or 3 goals. We want to inflict a shot of pain, come in with pressure, and then terminate the fight. It's as easy as that. And it's made easy because we keep very, very, let's say, economical, effective concepts and very, very simplistic techniques. That's what we're doing during this RAP program. So other than this, play around with these combinations, make sure we work it into our training, and have fun with this. If you want any information, whether it be on the concepts or this program right here, please check out the description below for the links, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.